Hello and welcome to South Asia Today, where we bring you in-depth insights into the key events shaping South Asia. I'm Shivangi Mishra, and are today's top stories. India's shooting talent rising from Jaipur range to global stage. Sindhi, Baloch and Pashtun activists expose Pakistan's rights abuses in UK gathering. And POGB residents protest amid road closure and inflation crisis. Let's begin the show. India is emerging as a strong contender on the global sporting stage, with shooting becoming one of its key strengths. Over the past few years, the sport has earned international recognition and inspired a new generation to pursue it seriously. This modern shooting range in Jaipur is now a hub of talent where focus, discipline, and relentless practice are shaping future champions.
Where every shot is not just aimed at the target but at a bigger dream. This shooting range in Jagatpura near Jaipur is fast becoming a hub for young talent. Here athletes train every day with sharp focus, discipline, and unshakable drive to improve themselves. Operated by the Rajasthan Rifle Association, this range is more than just a training ground. It is a launchpad that offers young shooters the right coaching, the right environment, and the real opportunities to move forward and aim higher.
बहुत खुशी होती है ये देख के कि भाई राजस्थान अभी नेशनल गेम में टॉप किया है पूरे भारत में और यहाँ के खिलाड़ी दिन प्रतिदिन आगे बढ़ने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं और ओलंपिक लेवल पे भी काफ़ी आगे जाने की संभावना है खिलाड़ियों की.
Young athletes from small towns and villages are stepping forward with remarkable speed to make their mark in shooting sports. Despite limited resources, their confidence, focus, and dedication remain strong, often matching the best in the field. This growing determination is helping them break barriers and reach bigger national and international platforms. Among them is national level shooter Mohini Singh, whose passion is clearly visible as she continues to move closer to her goal with consistent focus, hard work, and improvement every day.
यहाँ की ट्रेनिंग का जो माहौल है बहुत कॉम्पिटिटिव है. एक बहुत बड़ी रेंजेस होती हैं, उसमें फीलिंग आती है कि बहुत सारे कॉम्पिटिटर्स हैं, एक ही लाइन के साथ में खड़े हैं और वही शॉट्स की सेम आवाज़. तो एक फीलिंग आती है जैसे बड़े मैचेस में आप खेलते हैं, क्वालिफिकेशंस, फाइनल्स, वो प्रॉपर फीलिंग यहाँ पर आती है. तो ये रेंज एक्सपोजर के लिए बहुत अच्छी है और मेरे आगे के सपने यही है कि मैं प्रैक्टिस प्रॉपर अपनी रेगुलर रखती रहूँ और मेहनत करूँ और इंडिया को ऐसे इंटरनेशनल मैचेस में रिप्रेजेंट करके मेडल लेकर आ सकूँ.
Another player, Anshul Chaudhary, is steadily moving closer to his goal through consistent practice, strong discipline, and sharp mental focus. His hours of daily training, continuous self-improvement, and learning attitudes set him apart. Shooting is not just a game, but a true test of patience, focus, and self-belief, where even a small mistake can make a difference. Yet these young athletes are steadily mastering the sport by challenging themselves daily, handling pressure, and overcoming fear.
शूटिंग में करियर बनाना चाहते हैं उनके लिए काफ़ी गोल्डन अपॉर्चुनिटी है क्योंकि आगे जो ओलंपिक्स में हमारा 2024 में भी काफ़ी अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस रहा है इंडिया का. तो और ये काफ़ी कॉम्पिटिटिव गेम है, सबसे ज़्यादा प्लेयर्स इंडिया में शूटिंग के ही हैं. तो काफ़ी अच्छे से ग्रो हो रहा है शूटिंग स्पोर्ट और बिल्कुल अच्छे से ग्रो होता रहेगा अगर यही सपोर्ट रहा गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से भी और प्लेयर्स भी काफ़ी एंथुसियास्टिक वे में पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं इसमें.
The Jagatpura shooting range is more than just a training ground. It is shaping the next generation of champions. With strong training, real competition, and constant exposure, it pushes young athletes to improve every single day. From here, dreams are not just being built, they are turning into a new hope for the nation.
Pakistan's human rights record has once again come under sharp international scrutiny. At a gathering organized by the World Sindhi Congress in the United Kingdom, activists from Sindhi, Baloch, and Pashtun movements accused Islamabad of systematic repression, enforced disappearances, and demographic manipulation. Speakers alleged that Pakistan's military establishment continues to silence dissent through fear, displacement, and political suppression, while minority voices remained largely ignored by the state-controlled narrative.
What began as a community gathering in Bradford soon transformed into a strong indictment of Pakistan's human rights record. Organized by the World Sindhi Congress, the event brought together Sindhi, Baloch, Pashtun activists, intellectuals and political voices who accused Islamabad of decades-long repression against ethnic communities seeking rights, dignity and autonomy. Speakers alleged that enforced disappearances, arbitrary detentions and intimidation by Pakistan's security establishment have become routine tools to crush dissent in Sindh, Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Activists also warned that the shrinking democratic space in Pakistan has left minority communities vulnerable to political marginalization, media censorship and state-backed demographic changes.
Do you know, it is estimated that on average in Sindh, 5,000 people they die. And these 5,000 people they die, which are easily preventable. Hidayat said is 80% of people they don't have drinkable water. Now they say no, it's 90%. The chief minister said 90% people जो को अड़ो पानी पींदो वो बीमार न थींदो ऐं पोइ मरंदा न हेपेटाइटिस न थींदो त कीअं थींदो सिंधु दरिया जे करे सुकी 92 सैकड़ो डेल्टा तबाह थियो 90 सैकड़ो पानी खत्म थियो they want to really eradicate the basis on which Sindh stands. जीअं पाकिस्तान थियो not हजार न लख न millions of acres of land has been taken. कराची जी 50 सैकड़ो ज़मीन फौजन वटा.
The gathering also highlighted growing anger over controversial canal projects on the Indus River. Sindhi activists alleged that Islamabad's water policies are accelerating environmental destruction in Sindh while threatening the livelihoods of local communities dependent on the Indus basin. Speakers accused Pakistan's military-backed corporate farming initiatives of seizing fertile land in Sindh under the guise of development projects. Protesters claimed these policies are aimed at altering the demographic and economic balance of the region while pushing indigenous Sindhi communities towards displacement and poverty. The discussion soon broadened into a wider condemnation of Pakistan's treatment of ethnic minorities. Baloch speakers pointed to the continued disappearances of students, journalists and political workers in Balochistan, where families have spent years demanding answers about missing relatives allegedly picked by up security agencies. Pashtun activists too accused the Pakistani state of militarization, unlawful detentions and collective punishment in former tribal regions bordering Afghanistan. Many claimed entire communities continue to suffer from conflict, displacement and surveillance in the name of counter-terrorism operations. Human rights organizations have repeatedly raised concerns over Pakistan's record of enforced disappearances, extrajudicial killings and restrictions on free speech.
इस सरजमीन की बका और हुर्मत के लिए बेशुमार गुमनाम कारकुनों और सियासी कारकुनान ने अपनी कौमी तशक्कुस के लिए कुर्बानियां दी हैं और हमें फख्र है कि कुर्बानियों का सिलसिला आज भी जारी है. आज जब हम हीरोज ऑफ सिंध की बात करते हैं तो हमें ये याद रखना होगा कि हीरो सिर्फ वो नहीं होते जिनकी तस्वीरें दीवारों पर आवेज़ां हों. हीरो वो भी होते हैं जो अकुबत खानों में गुम हो जाते हैं, जो जलावतनी की जिंदगी गुजारते हैं। आप सब जलावतन हीरोज हैं, जो अपने लोगों के हुकूक के लिए खामोशी से कुर्बान होते हैं। सिंध की तारीख ऐसे किरदारों से भरी पड़ी है।
The event concluded with calls for greater international attention towards the plight of Sindhi, Baloch and Pashtun communities inside Pakistan. Protesters urged global human rights bodies to investigate allegations of enforced disappearances, resource exploitation and suppression of political voices. For many at the gathering, the issue was no longer confined to regional politics. Instead, they described it as a larger struggle for identity, survival and fundamental human rights under what they called Pakistan's deeply militarized state structure.
Now we take a look at some happenings in Asia in a segment called Asia Watch.
India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh inaugurated a war memorial dedicated to Indian soldiers who served during the Korean War in Paju, South Korea. Singh was joined by South Korean Minister of Patriots and Veterans Affairs Kwon Oh-yul during the ceremony. The leaders viewed a photo exhibition showcasing India's contribution during the Korean War and participated in a wreath-laying tribute. Singh said the memorial would symbolize the strong bond between India and South Korea and serve as a reminder of both nations' commitment to global peace and stability. The ceremony also featured agreement exchanges and commemorative events. Mexico City has embraced World Cup fever with football-themed exhibitions showcasing iconic memorabilia and art. The Album Epico exhibition at Museo Yankuic features over 15,000 items, including Pele's crown, historic jerseys, World Cup balls, and memorabilia linked to football legends like Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Interactive experiences and exhibits celebrating Mexico's football history have drawn visitors. Meanwhile, Museo Jumex is hosting Football and Art, a shared emotion, exploring the connection between football and contemporary art. The exhibitions are part of broader cultural celebrations ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Indonesia President Prabowo Subianto officially inducted 6 Rafale fighter jets, Falcon 8X VIP aircraft, a 400M transport aircraft, and radar systems into the Indonesian Air Force at Halim Perdanakusuma Air Base in Jakarta. During the ceremony, Prabowo reviewed the aircraft and performed a traditional blessing ritual by sprinkling flowered water on a Rafale jet. He said the additions mark an important step in strengthening Indonesia's defense capabilities amid global geopolitical uncertainty. Prabowo emphasized that the military upgrades are aimed at deterrence and safeguarding national sovereignty while ensuring regional stability and security.
Anger is intensifying in the Gupis, Pandar and Yasin regions of Pakistan-occupied Gilgit-Baltistan, where prolonged closure of the Dalidar road has pushed residents into severe hardship. With inflation soaring, shortages of essential supplies growing, and patients stranded without access to timely care, protesters have accused authorities of negligence and warned of massive demonstrations if the road is not restored immediately. Your report.
Residents of Pakistan-occupied Gilgit-Baltistan say the prolonged closure of the Dalidar road has disrupted daily life and pushed people into severe hardship, especially in Gupis, Pandar and Yasin areas. They claim rising inflation, shortages of essential supplies and blocked connectivity have made survival increasingly difficult, while patients, women and elderly residents remain stranded without timely access to services.
हुकूमत गिलगित-बल्तिस्तान को, जिली तंजामे को, सिक्योरिटी इदारों को, वफाकी हुकूमत को हम मुतलबे करना चाहते हैं कि ऊपर जो 30 फुट का जो नीचे का रोड है हमें वो बहाल चाहिए। 48 घंटे के अंदर अंदर वो रोड हमें बहाल करके दे दें। अस्करी इदारों के पास मुतबादिल आरसीसी लोहे के ब्रिजेस मौजूद है। ऊपर से एक्सीवेटर हैवी मशीनरी के जरिए उस रोड को ऊपर से जो नीचे का 30 फुट का रोड है उस रोड को वागुजार कराया जाए।
Critics accuse Pakistan government and the local administration of complete negligence, saying repeated warnings about the road's condition were ignored for months. Residents allege authorities failed to take preventive measures despite knowing the risks, leaving thousands to suffer once the route was blocked. The growing anger reflects deep frustration over what people describe as continued administrative apathy and delayed response.
इस हंगामी बुनियादों पे पुल के इंतजाम करें और जो रोड है उसको इमरजेंसी मशीनरी वहाँ पे लगाकर मुतबादिल ऊपर 30 फुट का जो रोड है वो वागुजार कराया जाए और आवाम को अजाब से बचाया जाए, कैसारी से बचाया जाए, मरने से बचाया जाए। हमारे लिए अजाब पैदा न करे, मसनूई बहरान पैदा न करे, आप ग़ज़ाई क़िल्लत पैदा न करे, लोगों की जानें बचाएं। हमारा मुतालबा है कि मुतबादिल रोड को वागुजार कराया जाए और न फिर हम आवाम को लेकर एहतजाज करने पर।
The crisis has once again highlighted the broader hardships faced by people in Pakistan-occupied Gilgit-Baltistan, where poor infrastructure, rising prices, and limited access to essential services continue to affect daily life. Residents say they are repeatedly forced to come onto the streets and protest even for basic necessities, exposing deep public frustration over governance failures and long-standing neglect in the remote region.
In the border district of Jammu and Kashmir's Katwa, the ancient art of calico printing is bringing a new wave of hope and empowerment for rural women. Through skill development initiatives by the Department of Handloom and Handicrafts, women are mastering traditional hand block printing techniques, preserving cultural heritage while earning livelihoods with dignity. The revival of Thappa Chapai is transforming lives by making border women financially independent, confident, and self-reliant. Let's have a look.
In the border districts of Katwa, the timeless art of calico printing, lovingly known as Thappa Chapai, is weaving new dreams for rural women. With hand-carved wooden blocks, vibrant natural dyes, and inherited creativity, women artisans are transforming simple fabrics into beautiful expressions of culture. Supported by the Handloom and Handicraft Department through skill development initiatives, this traditional craft is not only preserving heritage but also nurturing confidence, dignity, and financial self-reliance among women living in border communities.
सर ट्रेनिंग के अलावा जैसे इनकी ट्रेनिंग कंप्लीट होगी 1 साल की तो इनको डिप्लोमा मिलेगा। डिप्लोमा से इनको ये बेनिफिट होगा जो कि महिलाएं जॉब के लिए मतलब उनकी एज है तो वो डिप्लोमा अपना जब भी ये पोस्ट निकले तो उसके लिए ये डिप्लोमा उसमें काम आएगा तो उनको जॉब की प्रेफरेंस मिल सकती है। तो एक ये बेनिफिट है। दूसरा बेनिफिट है सर जैसे ये ख़त्म होगा इनकी सोसाइटी बनेगी। ये जो सोसाइटी है इसमें 11 मेंबर्स होंगे, यही फीमेल्स जिनको अच्छे से काम आता होगा, इसमें 11 मेंबर्स होंगे और इसमें गवर्नमेंट इनको डिपार्टमेंट इनको 1 लाख रुपया देगा साल का, जिसमें इन्होंने अपनी ये चीज़ें जो क्लॉथ है, पेंट है, कलर्स हैं और ये ब्लॉक हैं ये परचेज़ करने हैं और गवर्नमेंट बदले में इनसे कुछ नहीं लेता। और इवन कि हैंडीक्राफ्ट डिपार्टमेंट इनको प्लेटफॉर्म प्रोवाइड करता है एग्जीबिशन लगाने के।
Women are rediscovering the ancient art of calico printing through hands-on training in every stage of production, from preparing fabric with castor oil and blending natural pigments to mastering the delicate precision of hand-block stamping. Their skilled hands now create elegant cotton bedsheets, pillow covers, and suits admired in both local and international markets. This revival of Thappa Chapai is nurturing creativity, preserving heritage, and empowering women towards self-reliance, echoing Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of women-led skill development and empowerment.
ट्रेनिंग सेंटर कैलिको प्रिंटिंग ट्रेनिंग सेंटर खानपुर है। यहाँ पे हम ब्लॉक पेंटिंग जो है वो सीखते हैं, तो इससे हमें बहुत बेनिफिट हुआ है क्योंकि हम घर में ऐसे फ्री रहते हैं और हम पूरा घर का काम वाम करके यहाँ पे अपने टाइम पे आ जाते हैं। हमारी जो मैडम है वो बहुत अच्छी है ठीक है, हमें हर एक काम सिखाती हैं वो। यहाँ पे हम कुशन कवर, बेड शीट्स वगैरह सब कुछ बनाते हैं, ठीक है, पिल्लो कवर भी बनाते हैं। यहाँ हमारे यहाँ सेंटर में 20 से 25 से महिलाएं जो काम करती हैं, तो यहाँ पे सभी हमारे साथ सपोर्ट करती हैं, सभी सीखने में मतलब कि दिलचस्पी लेती हैं। हमें बहुत फ़ायदा हुआ है, क्योंकि यहाँ पे जब हम सीखने आते हैं हमारा टाइम भी है वो भी अच्छा निकलता है, हमें सीखने के लिए सब कुछ मिलता है। ये हमारी जो कि स्टेबलाइज़र भी हमें मिल रहा है, 8 महीने का स्टेबलाइज़र हमारा आया हुआ है।
The rural women of Kathua are filled with gratitude for the training center established by the Department of Handloom and Handicrafts, which has opened new doors of hope and opportunity. For years, many women had little chance to learn skills that could help them stand on their own feet. Today, through the revival of the ancient art of calico printing, they are not only preserving a beautiful tradition but also earning while learning, gaining confidence, dignity, and the strength to become truly self-reliant.
बहुत अच्छा और बहुत सारा काम सीखने को मिलता है इधर। बहुत अच्छा ब्लॉक प्रिंटिंग सिखाने को मिलता है इधर, और सीखने के बाद डिप्लोमा भी मिलेगा इधर, और इसके लिए जॉब के लिए अप्लाई कर सकती हूँ मैं आगे। फ्यूचर में भी बहुत डिमांड है हैंड क्राफ्ट की, और हमें ज्वाइन करना चाहिए सब लड़कियों को। ब्लॉग्स और प्रिंटिंग ब्लॉग्स लगाते हैं हम, बेड शीट पे प्रिंट करते हैं, पिल्लो कवर पे।
Through these inspiring initiatives, the administration of Jammu and Kashmir is weaving a future where tradition becomes a pathway to empowerment. By promoting heritage crafts like calico printing and creating skill development opportunities for rural women, the government is nurturing self-reliance, dignity, and economic independence in border communities. What was once a fading art is now transforming lives as women step forward with confidence, preserving their cultural roots while building brighter futures for their families. These efforts reflect a powerful vision of women-led growth and inclusive development across the region.
As we wrap up today's episode of South Asia Today, we thank you for joining us. We'll return next week at the same time with more insights and updates. This is Shivangi Mishra signing off on behalf of our entire team. Until then, stay safe and goodbye.